Hi guys, how you doing? We are going to talk a little bit about you today. And can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay. So every year, and I've done this, my kids were 3 to 10 whenever I started doing this because I had to make sure that I had enough money to get them to what they needed to do. And then I just kept expanding. So as I'm going to talk for just a minute here, if everybody would please get out a piece of paper and write on that piece of paper these 5 words. And then skip like 3 or 4 lines, and then do personally, professionally, financial, family, and home. If you write these things down, they are more apt to happen. And I really mean write them down as opposed to get on your laptop. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying I do believe that if you really take the time to do this, then what you're going to do is take this piece of paper and then you're going to be able to keep tweaking it, which is what I do. And again, you can do this on a laptop. I know some people that is their thing. For me, I got to write it. It just sticks with me. And then I kind of cross through and reroute and things like that. So as everybody's taken 2 minutes, personally, professionally, financial, family, home. And again, this is what I do. So if there's just 2 of them that you want to focus on, that's great. Then we're going to walk through that and talk about that. So what do you want to move in your life? What do you want to move or change in your life? In this year of COVID, we have all done some things that are different, and some of it's good. A lot of people have lost weight. Some have gained weight. Some have started to hike. Some have done more games with their family. So I do believe that in this time that we're in, things have changed. What do you want? This is all about you. And you don't even have to share this with anyone if you don't want. This is just something that as you're writing it down, these are things that you've been nudged about for some time. What does it look like? So think about it. What do you want? What do you want to change in your life? And what are you willing to do today, this week, this month? And goals, you do need a time. It helps to put some time on it, meaning when do you want it done? When are you going to start it? How's it going to look? How's it going to feel? So you want to be specific. And as you grow in looking at them, daily, weekly, you're going to be able to change them. And one of the things I love to do is mark them off. I like to mark them off. And sometimes I even add them on. So even if I've already done it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to add that on because then I get to cross it off because I get very, very much fulfillment in crossing them off. So let's talk about personally. So most of the things that you're going to see here are probably things that I have done in my life because this stuff comes to me pretty darn quickly. But I will say to you, I am really, really good about doing some of these. I hit my financial goals almost every year, and I'm talking it's been a long time coming. Because for me, I have to make sure that I do that for my kids. This personal thing, I've had to make it a little bit easier, meaning like what I did here was like a new hairstyle. So think about this, guys, as we are all in COVID, you see a lot of people with longer hair, right? Whenever you look in the mirror, is that what you want? Is that what you want to see? Or, our buddy, whenever you have the beard and, did you love it? And if you loved it, that is what this is all about. If you looked in the mirror or your wife, then you got to go, okay, is this going to stick? Is this what I want? I do know, I know. I do know that a lot of people, they're looking in the mirror and they're like, So take a minute, make the date, plan it. And for me, I was an impromptu girl to get my hair cut, so I'd start chopping on it on my own. And I'm 58. We're talking like a year ago, I would still do that. I don't do that anymore. So now I have every 5-6 weeks. I know, it's nuts. So why do I want to do that now? Because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. I can look in the mirror and I'm like, all right, I'm doing okay. The same thing for me, something very easy. I look in my closet and I'm like, I got nothing. I got this much clothes, but I got nothing to wear. So I took it upon myself to say, I'm going to have 2 hangers have things that if I'm going somewhere on an impromptu, I know I feel good, look good in this. And if I ever put on anything now that I don't feel good, it goes in the giveaway bag. I am too old for this. It is not where I want to be. I want to be able to feel good. And it's no matter your age, you guys, no matter what your age is, all of these things, we're all doing some of this. I don't like to put down anymore, lose weight. That's a negative, as we were talking about things like that today. So what I have been doing a lot is exercise. So I want to exercise. And why do I want to do it? Well, it makes me feel good. And if it's not something that you're used to, baby step it. 10 minutes. Walk around your house for 10 minutes. Then add steps to it, right? I mean, we can all do these little bitty things that make us feel good. And then you can move it up to 15 minutes. Give up sugar. That's one of the things. I want to give up sugar. There's no reason I don't need to eat sugar. Again, this is a personal thing, but it's like, okay, so I'm going to start. Now, if I don't make 30 days in a row, okay, I'm going to keep going. I got a calendar and I can just keep going, right? So I like we were talking earlier with Karen, this is a positive thing. Like, come on, we are all human. Still keep going. All right, I'm going to get on it that next day. So let's get on it. And what do you want? Okay, we've already talked about listening more, right? I love my father-in-law, and my father-in-law used to always say to me, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, Gail. And I mean, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Because I'd be like, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, I learned the listening skill. It is so much more fun for me to listen to all of you than it is to throw up. It doesn't feel good. I love it whenever I can listen and then I can come back to you and say something in a positive light. So make a sticky note. I do that too. I put a sticky note in my car, on my mirror, and I move forward with that. Okay, so that's personally. Professionally. So professionally, that's up to you. We talked a little bit about things on a professional note. This is last year, I wanted to make 10 more calls every week. So that's 2 calls a day. I put them in my calendar. When do I want to do them? And usually what I do is I do all 10 of them in one day so I can cross it off because I want to just get it done. I just want to get it done. And now I don't mind it as much because I'm used to kind of doing it. So it's kind of one of those things that I don't like to do, I'll put down and I want to scratch that baby off. I also make up a list of daily actions the next day before I close. Now, again, these are mine. Whatever you guys are getting nudged about, write it down. You're getting nudged on 1 or 2 of these areas. And there is something that you're like, I want to do this. Put it down, and let's see what happens. I want to be a part of the partner team at E4E. Do you? All right, come on, talk to one of us and let's see about that. I'll commit to grow a relationship with one of my other coworkers. I think that's important, at least for me. We have 50 plus employees here. So especially with COVID, I'm missing really learning some of these people. I'm writing down their names and I'm touching them. I'm touching them on some different basis. I will add to annual revenue, right? I'm going to add to X dollars to my revenue, and then I have to sell X. If that's important to you, you want to grow your W2 by 10 grand or whatever, how are you going to get there? And you always got to go backwards. I want to grow it by this, which means I have to sell this much more, which means I have to meet this many more people and have this many more presentations. So you always got to go backwards. So if that's important. And then, of course, the bottom, ask more questions. And we've talked about that. It's kind of funny how this all melds together with all of our presentations. That's very important to me, too. And I do the same thing. Even in my marriage, it's like, okay, what questions do I want to know from him and why? And sometimes I do. I write them down. Financial. In all honesty, and this is crazy, this is really my easiest. Because on a financial piece, you can put this down. And the minute you set it up, you're done, right? Personal, probably something you're going to be doing daily, weekly. Financial, okay, I want to go on a vacation. This is an example. And so it's going to cost X. And I want to go in this month. So how many months do you have to do it? And if you do it by pay period, so I need X number of dollars divided by, put it in a different account. And guess what? Once you set it up, when you want that money, it's already there. So I had kids that went to private high schools, and it was important to me to do that. And man, I had to just keep shaving money. The minute I set it up, I'd be like, there it is. So it's amazing financially. If you just set it up, your 401k, if you want to add to your 401k, just call your person or get online and change it and do it. And it's done. It's done for the rest of your life until you change it again. If you have credit card debt, how much do you want to pay it off? When do you want to have it paid off? And I will guarantee you, many years ago when I got divorced and I had credit card debt and I wrote this stuff down, I always achieved it earlier than I thought because I couldn't wait to scratch it off. So it's kind of an amazing thing as you're writing these things down and what becomes important, how fast you can get it. A lot of people, they want something. You want a bike, a motorcycle, a boat, a treadmill, whatever it is, write it down. Write it down. When do you want it? How much is it going to cost? How are you going to get that money? Is it on your bonus that you receive? Is it X dollars per month that you're going to save for it? All of this is available to you to do. You just got to get in the group to do. I used to always, many years ago, it's like I have to have $10,000 in my savings account because then I felt if I would ever lose my job, I was still okay with my family. And so that was important to me. And I didn't buy the new car and I didn't do the that. I needed that to feel good for myself and my family. And I could walk taller. I walked taller when I did these things. If you want to pay it on your home, how much do you want to pay down? How are you going to do? Maybe you just set it up that you pay X every month. So things that are important to you, write them down and then figure out how to do it. Family. So family, and again, because of COVID, there are so many, whoops, oh no. Sorry, guys. So family, there's a lot of different things that you can do on the family side. Aren't you proud of me, Will? And so like games, so many more people are playing games. We went to Kansas City this weekend, as I have up there, and we brought the game Rumacube, and my son and his girlfriend that never played, and they were kind of like, oh, they love it. So guess what's going on their Christmas list this year? They're going to get Rumacube. I mean, it's just fun stuff like that. So I have 4 boys plus 1, and so in my family, I always want to visit all the boys at least once. And so I got to make the date so I can get in their calendar. And so that's important to me. I got to put it on the calendar so we all know what's going on. I want to do a retirement party for my husband. I want to do a Zoom February retirement party. How's it going to look? How's it going to work? And my husband has this phone that just rings off the hook. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a theme of turn off the phone for Jim, just for fun, something different. And then we'll do a party hopefully in the summer. Family, do you want to plan a vacation? With whom? How's it look? You got a vision. What's it going to look like? What do you need to do for it? What are the different pieces that go with it? And then weekends, like we talked today on our breakouts. What do you want to do? And is it something different? Do you want to read a book? Do you want to hike? Where do you want to hike? Do you want to bike ride? Do you want to learn yoga? These are just wonderful things that move you personally into a new bucket for yourself. And I'm telling you, you're going to smile. Family, what about family dinners or movie night? Mark it down, get it done. Boom. So this one's really big, and I accomplish these all the time because I write down things that I want to do. And then I put dates most of the time, or I add to them as I go. So I want to paint our backyard brown. My husband has it red. I can't stand it. I'm like, I'm painting it brown this year and I'm going to get it done by this date. He's like, okay. So I just write down different things that I want to do and when I want to do, and sometimes with whom I want to do them with. And then, guys, it happens. It's like magic. So I usually have a new spiral notebook. I write each of those categories and I put things down and I flip and I flip and I carry it. I sometimes carry it. Now I know a lot of you guys don't want to carry things and I get that. So put it down after you write them down. Go ahead and put it in your laptop, your iPad, whatever you've got. And then have a way that you can cross things off and add to them. You learn a new book. I mean, we always hear new books. What book do you want to read? Why do you want to read it? Put it down. So those are really, really cool things. So I am a firm believer in this will change. You will stand taller as you, and just write 1 or 2 per category. Just, you don't need 5 or 6 because you'll never do it. But if you start to do 1 or 2, especially if you cross them off, that's what happens. Add another 1 or 2 to it. You're like, oh, okay, I got that done. And I'm only in February. And then you like add a couple of more and it just keeps the momentum going. So they give us direction. What do you want to commit to? What is it that you want to commit to? And write it down. So, one thing Richard told us about a frog. So my frog has always been fully relying on God, and you can change it to God if that's not your deal. But I am all about, I have frogs all over because I love that. So I love that we've got another analogy on that. So questions, comments, I'm open. Anybody have anything that they put down that they had a nudge for and they're like, I'm going to do this?
Well, from my standpoint, Gail, I heard a lot of confidence building in what you were saying in your message today, and I loved it.
Thank you.
David Adams said your enthusiasm is contagious.
Aw.
Karen Hoffman. Oh, go ahead, Cynthia.
Gail, I loved your presentation, and it's so impressive the amount of things you have on each of these lists. I'm just wondering, do you ever feel it's too much or you're overwhelmed, and what do you recommend doing when that happens?
Oh, be 100% transparent. I almost achieve everything on my list, and I have for years, except the personal. I am really bad about giving back to myself and giving time to myself. But I have to tell you, especially like within the last 2 years, I've been like, what do I want? What is it that's important to me? The others, and I'm not sure why, but the house is just easy because, I have 12 months to do it. Financial, I can set it up in whatever I want to do, I can just set it up. So truly, I can get that one done in a short period of time. My family, because my boys were so important to me, again, I knocked that one out almost always. Professionally and personally, those are the 2 that truly I would struggle on. And so sometimes I would feel less than because I didn't achieve them. So what you're saying is right. And so what I learned was 1 or 2. The other ones I might be able to do 3, 4, or 5 because I can hit them. The ones that I get challenged on, I have to bring down what it is that I want to achieve and really think about it so I can get it.
Cynthia, in regard to your question, one of the things that I've counseled people in my confidence programs to do is that when you identify something that you feel that you want, to list the first 3 to 5 actions you're going to have to take in order to make that happen, and then rate each of those 3 on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being high, how willing you are to actually take that action. And if they aren't all 4s and 5s, then in this case, don't put it on the list, because what you think you want is not really what you want strongly enough to persevere through the inevitable challenges we face whenever we try to achieve a goal.
That's a great litmus test.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Dale.
Uh-huh.
There are a couple books being mentioned in the chat. Tiny Habits from Stephen Denny. Karen Hoffman said, write it down, make it happen is a good book. And
well, I'll throw in one more that's very similar that I think is one of the best books I've ever read. It's called Atomic Habits.
Yeah, I've read it.
And it's all about that 1% a day improvement, how that builds over time. Just the first chapter alone is now required reading for all my clients.
I think we all heard Rocky's roaring endorsement as well. So beautiful presentation.
Wonderful
Glenda.
presentation, Gail. Goal setting, I can't say doesn't really light my fire. I do know how important they are, but my goodness, you were certainly your enthusiasm behind it and your ideas about how to make it work for you. Thank you very much. I think you kind of, promoted, more of a rally for me around goal setting. So thank you.
Glenda, can I add one more thought? Because
Sure.
it also comes from Atomic Habits and a couple of other books, is that make the commitment to the process, not to the outcome. Because if you're staying committed to the process, you will eventually get where you want to go. And if you just focus on the outcome, you lose track of the process that's required to get there.